Alex is a very devoted husband and doting father with three very small children. So um, he did not want to be away from his family, but he did go because he had a duty he had to fulfill.
What was their goodbye like?
Um, Heartbreaking. They were a very close family. You know, their children are very small, so they are very much in the thick of very hands-on parenting with a 2.5-year-old, and then the twins are 7 months old. So, but he was an incredible hands-on dad and just so engaged in their, day-to-day rhythms and making sure everybody had what they needed. So they really made the most of all the time that they did have together. But it was a very hard goodbye. He did not want to leave his family. Um, it was incredibly difficult for him to leave them because they really were everything to him. Um, so we are really holding on tightly to those images and videos of the last moments that they were all together.
I know we've seen those beautiful videos of him with his 7-month-old twins, with his older child, just 2 years old. Who was he?
Oh, he was the kind of person that made everything more fun. He had a very steady, consistent strength about himself, kind of like a steady confidence, and he was just so consistent and patient and kind. He truly was a selfless servant leader, and he was always ready to help anyone. He was an incredible husband and dad. Um, their marriage was something to aspire to. He was a devoted husband, and he really loved Libby fiercely and completely. And they were true partners. Their marriage honored God and their love for one another. And I'm really aching for the loss of their closeness and the great plans that they were making for the next chapter of their life. He was an incredible father, and his family was his first priority.
Was Libby concerned when he was deployed? Was she nervous about this mission?
Yes, they have both communicated that they felt like this deployment was different. Um, in addition to some of the nuances, this is the first deployment when they'd had children. So that certainly added another layer of complexity to it.
I know that he wanted to be done with the Air Force at this point, that he wanted this to be his final deployment. Why so?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they were really looking forward to being able to um, focus all of their energy on their family unit and what that next chapter looked like. In speaking with Libby, that was candidly one of the hardest parts about this deployment is that obviously, when he and Libby were married, it was very challenging, of course, but now that they have three very small children, just acknowledging the fact that those military children do not sign up for that commitment, and what the sacrifice that takes from them too. So they were just very much looking forward to being able to focus on their family and what was next.
What was supposed to come next?
I can tell you that it would have involved a lot of trips to the park, time outside hiking with the kids. It would have involved a lot of silliness and playing in the backyard, pushing his kids on the swing, time together with their family. That's what it would have looked like. The rest of it's just details.
How are you holding Libby up in this painful moment?
We are doing everything we can. It's a void that no one can fill. No number of people can fill. We are heartbroken for the loss of her true life partner. We are looking to support them in the way that Alex would have wanted it done, and looking to what their needs might be right now, but also what are their needs 6 months from now, what are their needs several years from now, and working together with the incredible community that they have of friends and family, um, to plan and try and make sure that we are filling in the gaps as much as is humanly possible, acknowledging that we will absolutely come up short because he set the bar so incredibly high and he was just made for it. He was made to be an incredible husband and father. Um, but that is what we are looking at and attempting as a village to do to the best of our ability to honor him.
In this hyper-polarized political environment we find ourselves in, there's been much debate about this war, about the political climate we live in. Given that you're now speaking as a Gold Star family, what do you want to say to Americans out there?
Our focus right now really is just on honoring Alex and supporting his wife and their three small children. It's an incredibly painful loss for them. I think what I want to make sure the public knows is there are real people and real families that are being impacted and will continue to be impacted by these events. I think sometimes we can be desensitized to, you know, announcements, numbers, things like that. And I'm just hopeful that by sharing a little bit more about the incredible human that Alex was all the way around, incredibly well-rounded, faceted human, and his beautiful wife and children, that we're able to bring a more human element to the conversation.
Can you just pull back the curtain for Americans out there about what those conversations are like when you're talking to your wife and you have 3 young babies at home, but you still answer that call?
Yeah, I mean, they had to have some incredibly challenging conversations. They had had several challenging conversations with previous deployments, but it was about the two of them as individuals. And now there is an additional layer of the children and the impact that this has on them. So that's just something that, again, I want to make sure that the American public is cognizant of, is we're not just talking about the adults, we're also talking about the children that are impacted by it. Yeah. Libby always said that she really felt like he was too good to be true. And it's really just who he was. He wasn't doing it so that people would think he was a good guy. It was just part of his innate DNA to do that.
Well, I am personally so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Sounds like Alex was a remarkable human and will live on in that beautiful family of his. And we're wishing you the very best.
Thank you. And thank you so much for honoring his legacy by helping us to communicate about who he was.